Before we begin, thank you very much to James K. for joining the Patreon campaign over at patreon.com/TJOmega. All the support to help keep the channel alive is very much appreciated, and I thank you guys so much for contributing. And hey, if you can't contribute, hit like, hit subscribe. That helps me out a lot too. I know every YouTuber begs you to do that. It is extremely important, and it does mean the survival and the growth of the channel. So, that out of the way. I've been doing this fly by the seat of my pants videos for a while now, and I've got a couple more weeks before I'm in the clear, and I can get back to like focusing on solid content and doing things that are a little bit bigger and a little bit more involved. But for now, I'm thankful for days like this where something juicy in the news came up that is worth a video in and of itself. We have our very first look at the Rise of the Beast toy line. Admittedly, it looks like it is the kids section of the toy line, the simplified, gimmicky figures, but hey, first look is first look, so we're going to get an idea of at least the design tone of the toy line, if not, at the very least, just, you know, what the characters are going to look like. So, the leak itself, I'm trying to formulate a few thoughts here all at once because there's a few things to take in. It's a weird set of reveals. So for starters, we did get a brand new Optimus Prime. It is in the style that we've seen from this series before, from all the intended preview. So the design itself doesn't quite match what we know Prime to look like in the movies right now. If we look back, it is actually it's a similar design to the Smash Changer Optimus Prime that's coming out in Cyberverse, which we know to be something of a stopgap because, yeah, this is obviously not Cyberverse Prime in any way, shape, or form. They're just releasing it under that banner because that's the banner that exists right now. So the movie line is weird. The movie line is weird, and we're going to talk about that. For now, we are going to mention the fact that we have this very, like, movie hound-esque APC style, or, like, just, like, big covered truck style vehicle mode, which is not what Optimus Prime looks like, and not what we're expecting him to look like in the movie, because we have the on-set photos of him as our, you know, it's typical semi-truck. So we know whatever this is not how he's actually supposed to look unless he, like, takes a temporary form in a movie or something. And this pretty much backs it up. It's a smaller toy, so it is a very simplified version, but you can tell it's still the same vehicle design. And it's interesting that they've gone with the same vehicle twice in two gimmick figures when it doesn't match what the vehicle mode on set looks like. We haven't seen this vehicle on set. So it's a little bit weird what's going on here. So, trying to figure this out, in my first gut reaction is, this is pre-tool. This is a set of Optimus Prime toys that could feasibly be re-engineered into movie hound toys if they wanted to get a second use out of them down the road. That's what my head immediately jumps to when I look at this vehicle mode. It is just bizarre. And the second thing that jumps to my head is a much simpler vehicle mode than his standard truck. You know, if we're doing big simplified gimmicky figures, then these solid block toys have a lot more space to work with than just, you know, your standard block and extension that a typical Optimus Prime would be shaped like. I can see this being a design that only exists in toys, and they just do like a recurring design across different sizes and gimmicks, simply for the fact that there's space to work with here. I mean, you can see they don't even need to put his arms in his cab here. The arms are just like floating on top. And it is interesting to me because that's not how this version works, which actually does hide his arms in his cab. They're actually like in the more traditional location. So I'm not sure what's going on with this toy. I mean, it's at least worth paying attention to. I will say that because it is now a recurring design, and it's not one that we're familiar with or one that's been announced for the movie. So who knows? This puts a little mystery into this toy line, into the movie itself, which I find interesting. I mean, we could talk about the toy itself, too. I mean, it's a simple gimmicky figure with a flip-out weapon. It doesn't look like a spring-loaded flip-out weapon. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure what price point or size is going to fall into. You know, it's just a basic gimmick figure. So we will leave it at that. I think the real takeaway here is the beast aspect of it, because we got to look at Optimus Primal and Tigatron, actually. So if I go and look at the listings for this toy line that we saw over on Amazon, or no, we saw them on Gamefly. Give me a second. Okay, found the article. Gamefly itself listed all of these individual items for a while. And if we look here, we have Weaponizer 2-pack Optimus Primal, which is what this seems to fit the bill as. This doesn't seem like a standard Voyager or Deluxe, because it is very simplified. But if this Tigatron is any indication, it does seem like they are meant to go together. They do share some plastic colors once you see like Tigatron in his weaponized state. This is actually quite surprising to me. Our first look at Optimus Primal in his robot mode for this movie, and to my surprise, he actually looks like Optimus Primal. He's got the core in the center of his chest. He's got the shoulder pauldrons. He has his standard head with an exposed mouth and the faceplate. This is way more respectful to his original design than movie designs typically get, and it's actually quite surprising to me. Now, the toy itself is exceptionally simple. I mean, there's no dedicated ape fists. You know, it's just, you just rotate the forearms and put the shoulder pauldrons down. You can see how, like, his entire back section is just a shell. And when you fold down the front half, all that black shell stays in place, and then you just rotate the torso around, flip it back in. There's your Optimus Primal. And the legs themselves, the legs don't seem to do any transforming at all outside of just like rotating the beast feet around. So exceptionally simple figure. It is painted. It doesn't look painted, but it is painted. You know, because we see varying shades of gray. We see the blue eyes. It is strange to me that he would be so barren of color. Like Optimus Primal is not the most colorful design, but he's got a little bit more variety than this. And Hasbro in the past has been exceptionally fearful of releasing a toy that is just stark gray. You know, that was, like, you think back to the Unicron trilogy line, where they had to throw tan into the mix on Energon Ironhide. They had to make Backstop a purplish rhino rather than gray. They were just terrified of releasing things that weren't colorful. And now we have this, where his only splash of color is a little bit of baby blue in his eyes and a little bit of green in those eyes. It's a weird change for Hasbro. But it's not a great look for the toy. Like, I really do wish there was a little bit more color. Again, it's the kids' gimmick line. These are simplified figures. These are not like full Voyagers, Deluxes, whatever we're going to end up getting for these characters. So they very well may be more colorful than I'm giving credit here for. I'd at least like to see his head painted blue. But still, it does surprise me that the design is at least very recognizable as Optimus Primal. It's not something I'm used to out of movie designs. See? Straight up Primal head. That's actually really surprising. Also surprising is Tigatron. So, let's see, do I have a better shot? Yeah, there's the better shot. Tigatron is a weaponizer in this line. We're having, like, I guess minor Beast Wars characters, like comparatively minor. I'm not trying to upset the Tigatron fans there. Are going to be transforming into these weaponizer figures where they're animals that turn into weapons. Okay, fine. It gets more Beast Wars characters in. It builds up your animal army, even if they don't have robot modes. It's not a bad way of making like a crossbow toy for Primal as an accessory. I do question that tiger head just floating upside down on the back. I feel like that could have been done a little bit better, but is what it is, I guess. See, I'm guessing these two are part of their own 2-pack because the shade of gray Tigatron's using for his core component is the same gray that's on Primal. I don't necessarily think they're gang molded together because we have Cheetor listings as well, but it is something to note. And yeah, the articulation, like for a basic figure, he actually looks like he has decent articulation. The big thing to this toy is the way it transforms, it cannot raise the gorilla head up. It has like the reverse knees to put him in a more like familiar gorilla position, but he can't face forward, which is a pretty ugly look. But hey, at the very least, we can tell they tried. And again, it's all gimmick. And you can see these are probably not meant to be in the same toy line. They aren't. I don't think these are meant to be in the same size class or in the same multi-pack or something. Because you can see there's so much more articulation on Primal with no like outside gimmick outside of Tigatron. And meanwhile, Prime himself is very much a gimmick toy and very much simplified compared to Primal. So varying price points I think we're seeing here. It's weird to me that this is our first look because if we look, Amazon, let's see, I'm getting my listings confused. So Gamefly originally listed Wave 1 of Rise of the Beast toys to be released on April 1st, which is 2 weeks away. And we still have not seen anything really of the toy line officially from Hasbro. Whereas on Amazon, they pushed the release date back to April 15th. And they still have like Beast Battle Master, Rhinox. Okay, so it's, very small figure. So again, probably a weaponizer of some kind. But it's so confusing to me that we're so like we're like on the like so close to what was supposedly a release date for these toys, but we still have not seen hide nor hair, literally, of them from Hasbro. It is a weird situation because the movie got pushed back a year. The last time they were doing this was G.I. Joe Retaliation, and that was a disaster for Hasbro. You had a movie toy line with no actual movie support, which pretty much tanked it. You could see the same thing with Wonder Woman 84 toys, especially the Lego sets. They were just there forever in the toy stores waiting for the movie to actually be released. And the way toy production works, what you have to keep in mind is when these are on the production line, the next 7, 8, 9 dozen different orders are already in line. Manufacturer, toy companies wait months for their figure to be in line for production for the factories to finally get around to. It's why when a company re-releases a recent figure, it still takes them a while to get it done because they have to go to the back of the line. In this situation, you can't just you have a toy line that was designed to be released this year. In fact, in less than a month, it was designed to be released. You don't have storage space to hold on to hundreds of thousands of items, waiting a year for them to actually get a properly timed release. I think what we're seeing here is what's going to end up being a preview wave of the stuff that they couldn't stop at the factory level. The stuff that they couldn't, just like the very few things they couldn't delay, which is why they're getting blended into Cyberverse. And these as well may, for all we know, be blended into Cyberverse at some point, just because Rise of the Beast is so far off. But who knows? It's crazy right now. Toy release schedules are crazy right now. Hasbro, on their own official site, can't even stick to their release dates, dropping toys on you, months in advance. So who knows? This is just where, I still feel like Hasbro's communication level is so bad. I feel like if we were this close to these toys being ready, it shouldn't be someone getting stolen toys, out of Vietnam and posting them for YouTube clout just for the sake of, attention, getting to show off these things for the first time. Hasbro themselves should be revealing their own product as soon as they're ready to be revealed, instead of waiting until there's no surprise left. But this is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. So, okay, even like the extreme, we're a month away and we still haven't seen this toy line officially announced. It is a bizarre situation. It's a concerning situation for the toy line itself. And I'm really concerned that something a little bit more wrong has gone here, and who knows? Who knows? For now, it looks like we're just going to get a few of the gimmicky lines, and then all the substantial stuff is coming later. I just wish Hasbro would come out and say that, because here we are, wondering, speculating. No one knows what's going on. We're just getting random toys getting leaked now, and no one knows what's going on because there's an inherent problem with how Hasbro announces things. I guess that's a discussion for a later time. But for now, that's our first look at Rise of the Beast toy line. Keeping in mind, they could be based on early character art and not representative of what's going to be in the movie. They are just cheap gimmicky figures, so they are not fully featured. They are not fully painted. They are just simple toys for the younger kids. They are not the collector-oriented ones we will inevitably get. So bear that in mind when judging these, and at the very least, we get a look at how the play pattern of the weaponizers in this line is going to be. I still don't like that they're releasing them as separate toys like we saw with Rhinox, but, it is what it is, I guess. So let me know in the comments what you think below. If you're into these, if you have hope for the line, if you have the same concerns I do. I'm kind of curious on this one. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. It means the world to me. And yeah, I'm still on this daily grind. So we'll see what comes tomorrow, because at this point, even I don't know what's coming tomorrow. It's kind of terrifying, kind of fun. We'll see. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.